Throughout all the pages of the original book, the message is explicit. Do not lose yourself. This text is expressed in the language of the human race, although it is written in the language of beings in manifestation. Its content can never be erased, for it accompanies the very manifestation of being. It has never been a mystery that the understandable division of the cross is a simple element that separates into 4 parts or quadrants what appears to have been created. Each quadrant not only represents a phase, but also explains the transition of the nature of the being in manifestation and the reason why this occurs. Interpretations that have wrapped the simple in mystery attributed ownership to a basic symbol. Various beings, disguised as authorities, consolidated groups and societies, creating esotericism to make inaccessible that which is clear and available. These authorities, among other distortions, made the understanding of Christianity incomprehensible, distancing the being in manifestation from the original meaning attributed by the author. This distortion is consolidated by glorifying a common term that perpetuates the discrimination of beings in manifestation by the human race. The human race distances itself from original knowledge and from its own understanding. To adapt to an incomprehensible environment, it creates elements to identify itself. From this identification arises the need to define the identity of beings and to recognize one's own individuality. The being begins to present itself through specificities that highlight its differences from other manifested beings. This leads to the emergence of what, among humans, is known as personality. Personality is the mask that the being adopts through the attribution of adjectives that each human applies to himself or to others through the expressions I am and he is. In all the pages of the Book of Being, it is explicit that the being will lose itself by moving away from itself. The expression I am is one of the elements that lead it outside itself by adding adjectives to what it is not. The construction of human society occurs through the attribution, admiration, and worship of qualified beings. Unfortunately, it is through the naivety of learned men, historians, and biographers that this misunderstanding is perpetuated. The most harmful, however, is the mystification of the term I am, which has become the great foundation of the deification of falsehood. I am the creator. I am the power. I am the glory. I am the messenger. I am the Lord. I am the carrier. I am the magician. I am the saint. I am the guru. I am the master. I am this. I am that. The Book of Being speaks to the being, but never tells it what it is, for its non-existent origin and end are implicit. The being, therefore, will never be something. And this impossibility, though obvious, still seems incomprehensible. A brief look at the various interpretations of numerology reveals that the number 1 represents the real self, the number 2, the occupation by the real self, and the number 3, the idealization made by the real self. What is called the universe is the occupation and the idealization of the real self. Only then does the universe exist. When saying, I am, any complement is merely an adornment that attempts to qualify the occupation by the real self. If the being presents itself as, I am that, for example, that is the addition of a characteristic seeking to identify the manifestation of the real self at that moment. The real self will never say, I am, for that would mean not recognizing itself. Every need for explanation denies what is real, and the real cannot be explained. It simply is.